Yes, we're still on the law of logarithm, but let me chip in this. Logarithm is therefore the index to which a number base is raised to get another number. Do you get now? Is the index to which this index also means what? Power. Index, the power to which a number base is raised to get another number. E.g., let's say for example, you have this is 3, right? 3 raised by 3 will give you 27. That means I multiply 3 ní ọ̀nà mẹ́ta. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, right? 3 times 3 times 3, then 3 times 3 times 3. That is what? So with that, we give you 27. Now, the logarithm of a number is what? Is the power to which a number, base, this is base, is what? Is raised to get another number. So if you raise this, which is the power, which is the base, if you raise it by 2, that is what? That 2 is what? Is the log of that number. Together now. If you raise it by 3, that 3, for example now, this is what? This 3 in 3 places will give us 27. That makes 3 the logarithm of 27. Together now. So now, logarithm table is one of those things that some students find difficult to able to check. Àwọn logarithm table ó jẹ́ òǹkà tí wọ́n ti kọ sílẹ̀ tó jẹ́ pé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ kò mọ bí wọ́n ṣe máa yẹ̀wò, kò mọ bí wọ́n ṣe lò. So please pay attention, rapt attention to this so that you don't miss it. If you have this knowledge, foundational knowledge, then in chemistry, in physics, in whatsoever you find yourself, you're able to use logarithm table as easy as possible. So logarithm is used in a situation where y is equal to what? 10 to the power x, and the value of x are between 0 and 1, then x is equal to log of this. So logarithm is most times used when the power of the value of x is the power of that of a number is between 0 and 1 in logarithm. So between 0 and 1, so it could be in decimal places, decimal points. So that's when you use it. And remember, logarithm of 10 to base 10 is 1. Just like logarithm of what? Logarithm of 3 to base 3 is what? Is 1. So also logarithm of 10 to base 10 is 1. Logarithm of 2 to base 2 is what? Is 1 also. So for any number greater than 10, its logarithm is greater than 1. Any number that is greater than 10, its logarithm will be what? Greater than 1. And any number less than 1 has its logarithm to be what? Less than 0 too. So take note of that. So using logarithm table, now let's use this will tell us how to use logarithm table. Let's say you are given question log 162. Log 162 will give you final answer to be what? 2.2086. 2.2086. Meanwhile, those values are divided into 2 categories. Number 1, we have one that is called characteristics. We have another part that is called what? Mantissa. So the integers before decimal point are called what? The characteristics. So from this is the characteristics. You get now. And the other part, which is after the decimal point, which is 2086, is what? The mantissa. It's called the mantissa. So please take note of that and keep that at the back of your mind. So that is 2 out of this is what? Is our characteristics, where 0.2086 is our mantissa. In order to easily get the characteristics of a number, most times express it as what? A standard form. You get now? Express that number in standard form if you want to get the characteristics of a number. So when you have a log of a number to deal with, the first thing is to express the number in what? Express that number in standard form. That standard form, when you express the number in standard form, the index or the power of that number will tell you the characteristics of that value, for the value of that log. Do you get that now? So let's go now. So let's assume we are still dealing with log 162. If you put log 162 in standard form, it will be what? 1.62 times 10 to the power what? Times 10 to the power 2. So the power of that standard form is now what? Is 2. So 2 is simply the what? Is simply the characteristics of that log. So the first thing you should do is, first of all, write down 2, which is the characteristics. You write it down. So after writing it down, then you can now go further into the logarithm table, which we will deal with. So, but let me also take note of this. If a number has only one digit, this is the simplest form of how to easily get your one. If you don't want to use characteristics, change it to standard form or anything. But mere looking at a number, you should be able to say this is the characteristics of that number. So if a number has just only one digit, the characteristic is 0. If it has 2 digits, the characteristic is 1, and if it has 3, the characteristic is 2. Let's say we have 1, 6. The characteristics of 1, 6 is what? Is 16. Is what? Because it has how many digits? It has 2 digits. Then it's what? Is 1. If it is 1, 6, 2, 4, 1. How many digits we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the characteristics is what? The characteristics is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It will be what? 4. Do you get it now? It's just short of what? Short of 1. The number of digits you are able to count minus 1. If you are able to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to balika 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minus 1. That will give you the characteristics, which you will first of all write out. You get that now? So you just still over can number to add 1, 2, 3. Characteristics is making you. That will be 3 to minus 1 will be what? 2. So to add 1 minus 1 will give us what? 0. Do you get that now? So that's that. How to easily get to know the characteristics, which is the first thing you first of all do when you want to get the log of a number using what? Using logarithm table. In checking the 4-figure table, there is a book called Logarithm Solutions. I believe you know that. There is a book called 4-figure tables where you have log of numbers, you have sine, you have cosine, you have all of that in that table. But if you want to check that, when you have your 4-figure table, open to the logarithm of numbers, the page that has logarithm of numbers. Then after writing out your characteristics, then you now want to check for your mantissa. You have to check for your mantissa. Don't forget, the first part is what? Characteristics, while the other part, which you will get inside your 4-figure table. 4-figure table is called the mantissa. So àkọ́kọ́ number tó kọ́kọ́ gbọ́dọ̀ kọ́kọ́ ṣiṣẹ́ lórí tó gbọ́dọ̀ kọ́kọ́ mọ̀ òní kíni òní characteristics. Tó bá ti ń wo number yẹn kan, tó bá ti ń wo the digit yẹn gangan ó ti mọ̀ pé okay, characteristics number array. Then you now open your 4-figure table. Inú 4-figure table ló ti wá rí kíni ló ti lè rí mantissa, which is the decimal part of that number. So for log of a number, let's say e.g. 325. The characteristics is what? Don't forget, nǹkan tí mo sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan pé digit mélòó ni 325 ní 1, 2, 3. So for example 325 now, the characteristics is what? Is 2. Mo sọ pé tó bá ti ka digit yẹn tó bá ti pé 1, 2, 3 ó jẹ́ mẹ́ta minus 1 wá yọ ọ̀kan kó bẹ̀ yóò jẹ́ kí ni 2. Tó bá yẹ pé mẹ́rin digit yìí yóò jẹ́ kí ni characteristics yẹn yóò jẹ́ kí ni yóò jẹ́ 3. But we are dealing with 325. So we have 3 digits. Then you have a characteristics to be what? 2. Then you now write down the what? You write down the 2. Abi point. You now put point. Then the next thing is to what? Is to look for the mantissa, which you will find is that then you now open your what? Then you write it down. Thereafter you check You open your fourth figure table, under log, you check 32. There is this part, the vertical part on the left side that has list of numbers. So you go to 32, you check 32, you check for the first 2 digits, which is 32. So 32, then you trace it forward. That on that point 32, you trace it forward. You now go under a section. In front of that 32, you will see a horizontal value of numbers between 0 and 5. So under that, you now look for what? 5. That's what we call it, 32 under 5. So after checking for 32, you now trace it like this. You trace it down where you have 5. The value you meet at that 5, you write it down. So if you check your four figure table now, you will see 5119. So 55119, then you write it down. So that's 5119. You write it beside that decimal point. That's how you have 2.5119. So that's your answer. That's the logarithm of what? The log of 325. The logarithm of 325 will give you 2.511. Don't forget, it is in base 10. Bigger now. It is in base 10. Logarithm of 10. Logarithm of base 10. Don't forget that all these values are what? Base 10. So we have that. So to check the anti-log, it implies that getting back the number whose logarithm is given. Let's say you are given this number. At get the number ìpadà at get the number ìpadà àwa fẹ́ get the number tó fún wa number tá a fi bẹ̀rẹ̀, which is 325. Anti-log the number ìlàwà. If you find the anti-log of this, you should be able to get 325. If this 325 is given to you, what you need to do is to go to find the logarithm. If you find the logarithm, you get 2.5119. But if you want to get, if you are given 2.5119, you want to get the value back, you want to get the number that gives this, then you find the anti-log. So it's just like what and opposite. Wọ́n ti kọ́kọ́ fún ọ lélẹ̀, o lè fi kíni o lè fi anti-log kò fi wá nọ́mbà tí tó fún wa lélẹ̀. So I just put 325 náà fún wa, ó fi log, ó fi find the number ilé. Bigger now. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni pé yẹn dá nǹkan padà síwájú, yẹn dá nǹkan padà sẹ́yìn. So that's what log and anti-log means. So let's say you want to find the anti-log of 2.519. Bigger now. So what you need to do is go to the logarithm anti-log table. So after the logarithm, you get the anti-log table. So it's different. So always check the headings of your four figure tables to know if you are at the page of for long anti-log or logarithm. Because if you mistake to get the value from logarithm table to now convert it, of course you will know there is difference between those numbers, but you must be very cautious of it. So neglect the characteristics. The first thing with this, you have to neglect these characteristics, which is 2. Forget about characteristics, which is 2. What you need to go is to do what? Like we did in the logarithm table, you now check for this number. After decimal number, you will get. So you have to what? You check 51. You get now 51. So check 51 under 1 and the difference. You get now. Sometimes you may have number that gives you just 3 digits. If you like this now, it gives us 3 digits. If you have a number that gives you 3 digits, what you need to do is get 32 under 5. There is no difference. You get now. And sometimes you have number that give you 3254. You get now. So you have to look for 32 under 5 difference 4. So with that, you should be able to do justice to it. So check 51 under 1 and difference 9. Under difference 9. Do you get now? Difference 9. So and add the 2 digits together, then you will have the anti-log of this. Do you get now? The first thing you do is check 51 under 1. What is the number that you got? You write it down. Then you now go ahead and find the what? You find the difference. According to that line also, you add it up. Then whatever you get, we give you what? We give you the number you are looking for, which is 325. For example, let's go to example. Conclusively, use logarithm table to multiply 16.54 times 2.28.9. How do we write? You first of all spell out your table, number and log. 16.54. What is the first thing you should first of all write is what? This 16. 16, that is the integer. Yes. Use of logarithm to multiply numbers. Again, so we have 16.54 times 28.9. So you first of all, as I said earlier, you spell it out, number log. So the first thing is to first of all consider the what? This is the integer part, and this is what? The decimal part. That is 0.54. This is the integer part. So the integer part, it is on that integer part you find how many digits do we have? We have what? 2 digits, have we? And I told you that the first thing you should first of all write out is what? Is the characteristics. So what is the characteristics of 16? Because we have 2 digits, then it will be what? 2 minus 1, which gives us 1. So when you see 16, 16, that's the characteristics of that number will be what? 1. If it is 161, that is 3 digits, then the characteristics will be what? 2. So basically now 16, you have characteristics, characteristics will be what? 1. Then you write your point. So what do you do next? You look for 16 you now look for 16 under what? You now look for 16 under, we look for 16 under 5, difference 4. So 16 under 5, difference 4. 16 under 5, like I told you earlier, from 3 to 5. So 16 under 5, difference 4 will give you what? 21.86. So you write it down after the decimal point. Then you move to the second figure, second number, 28.9. How many digits do we have? 28.9. We have just 2 digits. So that will be 1 characteristics. Write it down. Points. So then you go for that. You look for what? In the fourth figure table, you now look for what? In the logarithm table, you now look for what? 28 under 9. So 28 under 9, you will find the number 4609. So add it together. Why do you need to add it together? Because it is multiplication. Don't forget those laws of logarithm, basic law of logarithm that we read together. So you add it together because these two numbers are considered to be what? Are considered to be of the same base, which is 10. So what do we have? If you add this together, 6 plus your 9 will give you what? 15. 8 plus 0 will give you 8, plus that 1, you add it, that is 9. So 1 plus 6, you have 7. 2 plus 4 will give you 6, and 2 plus 2 will give you what? 1 plus 1 will give you 2. So that's that about that. Then you now find the antilog of the number. And now find the antilog of the number. Find the antilog of the number. So how do you find the antilog of number? Like I told you, you first of all neglect these two. You are not looking for to neglect these two. So you now go to your antilog table. You find 67 under 9, difference 5. Wakoko lọ nígbà tó ti há di number, ti há di ló ti get characteristics ẹ, ti get characteristics ẹ, ti get mantis ẹ láti inú logarithm table, o get mantis ẹ láti logarithm table. Wàá há di gbogbo ká. Mo ní kí ló dé ìdí tá fi há di méjèèjì papọ̀ torí pé under law when you see multiplication you add it. Do you get that now? So now nígbà tó há di wọn papọ̀ ó fún wa ní 2.6795. Now that's not the final answer. The final answer, for you to get the final answer, you have to look in, check your antilog table. Mo ní aláwọ̀kọ́ ni pé 2 to 1b, which is your characteristics. You first of all ignore it, neglect it, feel ẹsẹ̀gbẹ̀ kan, ò tí nílò rẹ̀ báyìí. Now wọ́n wá lọ wo antilog table ẹ̀ wá wo 67 under 9, difference 5. So tó bá ti kọ́kọ́ wo 67 under 9, number tó bá fún ẹ kọ́lẹ̀. Number tó bá wà ní under 5, difference 5, wà add it together, add it. Also by number tó bá fún ẹ, òun ni number tó fún wa ní 4780, 4780, 4780. So now the characteristics determines where the decimal point is placed in the value. So whatever value you now get from the angular table, these two characteristics, which is 2 here, we now what will determine between of a decimal point. You see, now if you have 2 as your characteristics, that means we have a decimal point, you see, after the third digit. 1, 2, 3 dot. Do you get it now? So this is just like you are saying that is just you are saying 478.0 or 478. That's it. If you don't put 0.0 there, there's no problem. Do you get it now? So that's that. But let's move to the second one. Open bracket 45.16, close bracket raised to power 2. Do you get it now? So what do you need to spell out? Now 45.16 raised to power 2, Abi. Now the first thing you first of all do is, I said this is what the first thing for us to Kilamakolu to get our what, to get our characteristics. 42, Abi. 45. If you have 2 whole number that is having 2 digits, then your characteristics will what? 1. That's why we have 1. Dots. Now check the table. You check the table. 45. You check the logarithm table, not anti-log this time around. Logarithm table. They get it now. So 45 under 1, difference 6. Whatsoever you get, we give you what? 6548. 6548. So you write it there. So because of the power, they get now, you multiply, because it's power, you multiply that power. If this is 3, then you multiply it by 3. If it is 4, you multiply by 4. But this power is 2, then you multiply by 2. So if you multiply 2 by 1.6548, you have 3.3096. Then thereafter, you now move to what? The antilog of that number. The first thing I told you to always do is to forget this characteristics 3 first. Once you look into what? Go to your antilog table, look, check 30 under 9, difference 6. Whatsoever you get, we give you what? 240. Yeah, 240. Now, because you have 3 to be your what? Characteristics, your decimal point, where you place your decimal point will now be what? Will now be what? The fourth, after fourth digit. That is 1, 2, 3, 4. The decimal point. So numbers don't, you have just for when you have 4, just ordinary 4 digits, you just put, it's either you put 0.0 or you leave it that way. Do you get it now? Either you put 0.0 or you leave it that way. So let's move to the last question for the day. 628.9 divided by 18.36. 18.36. So you have number log. So now 628.9 divided by 18.36. So you draw your table log, number and log. So the first number is 628.9. So what's the characteristics here? Characteristics, because we have how many digits? 1, 2, 3. So the first integer, the whole digit is what? Is 3. 1, 2, 3. So the characteristic will be 2. So what do you now do next? After writing your 2 points, then you look for what? You look for the mantissa from your logarithm. So you check 62 under 8, difference 9. So the value is 79.86. So you now move to the second number, which is 18.36. So the integer is what? Is 18. So that 18 is what? That 18 is having 2 digits, so it's 1. So 1 point this thing. So you move over to look for what? 18 under what? 18 under 3, difference 6. So whatever you get, we give you 2.36. That is 2.36. You add it together. So now in the case of division, now whatsoever you have written, the value for 62, the logarithm of 628.9 is what? Is 2.789, 2.7986. The value of 18.36 is what? 1.26 block 2639. Yeah. But because of this division, in division, you do what? You multiply. That's why you have this multiply. You subtract. In division, you subtract. But in multiplication, you add. You can see this place, we do what? We added. Yeah, we add here because multiplication according to law. So when you have multiplication, you add. When you have division, you subtract. So that's why you subtract. So if you subtract 1.2639 from 2.7986 will give you 1.5347. 1.5347. So you now go for that. You look for antilog. I said first of all, forget the characteristics. So you check the antilog table. You look for 53 under 4 difference 7. 53 under 4 difference 7, which will give you what? 3426. 3426. 3426. So that 3426. Your mantissa, your characteristics, I told you that it will be the one that determine where you place the decimal point. Because you have just 1 as your what? 1 as your characteristics. Then you put your decimal point will be after what? After 2 digits. After the second digit. This is 1, 2. So your decimal point will be here. So with this, we've come to the end of the class. If you have any question, leave it at the comment section. I will attend to them. So we'll go further into questions. I will be giving out questions every week, but I want us to start with monthly. So whatsoever questions we are able to topics we are able to do for this month. So by the last week in the month, so I will write some questions out. We solve it. Anyone that gets it correctly, you get all the question correctly, there is a bonus. There is a gift for it, monetary gift, and also books, good books that will help and aid your arithmetic, mathematics skills learning. So do have a wonderful day.